morning, ladies. We're going to give it just a few more minutes. I think it's still, everyone is still out there trying to find their way. All right, so even though, let me ask you all, because we were walking out, did they say they were adjusting the time of this workshop? Okay, so how many minutes do we have?
We have till 11:50.
11:50. Okay, so less than 20 minutes. Really? Okay. All right, so I want you all to leave here with valuable tips. So I may talk a little fast because I do at least want you to leave here with something. The worksheets here on the table, if you can grab one and pass it around, at least you'll leave here with some notes. I will be around after we speak and after lunchtime, so please feel free to come up to me and ask me any personal questions. How about that? Is that a way to kind of hand off the difference in time? All right, thank you so much. So good morning. Rada and I are going to be your experts for the next 20 minutes, 10 minutes each hopefully, and share about self-presentation, which is through presence, the strengthening your presence. And then Rada is going to share about your personality using the Hogan assessment tool. How many have heard of that tool before? Okay, it's very good. It's for the workplace. So within my 30 years of doing this as an image coach, I have found that through research and working with clients one-on-one that we are really all experts at presence, okay? All of us are experts at presence. And society has really given the definition of presence as being maybe confident or compelling or dealing with charisma. But at the end of the day, you all, presence is really about how you truly make a person feel, right? It's the energy that exudes off from you, sometimes mostly without you saying a word, but what people have watched you do doing different things in the workplace. And today we are going to be speaking from workplace, but you can also take this information and use it in your personal life. I will be kind of looking at notes, especially since I'm kind of dealing with time again to make sure that you're leaving here with some valuable tips. So we assess people in different environments, just like you all are assessing me, and it's okay, but I want to let you know it's no longer about that 100% judgment, which is 55% appearance, 38% the tone of your voice, and 7% of your words, and it's no longer about first impressions. But you know what it's more about? It's about the impressions that you make ongoing and being consistent about it, okay? First impressions are important, but people are watching you all the time, and we need to be very conscious of that. So it's a work in progress, and that's what I am. I work on this daily using the tools that I'm going to share with you. Just a little bit of background about myself so you all will know I'm kind of coming from experience. Started my business at the age of 16, doing the same thing that I did at 16, and it has been a challenge for me through my journey. Being 16, running a business that was at that time in the 80s, predominantly male-dominated industry, the retail and image industry during that time was a lot of males. So 16, being young and in front of a lot of men, felt a little intimidation, right? People would look at me and say, what in the world, who does she think she is? Negotiating contracts, having a small staff, making business decisions. So that was a little intimidating for me. So in order for me to overcome this, I had to fit in, okay, in order to stand out. And so what I did at that time, I watched people, really observed how these men were talking, how they talked among themselves, and met a few women along the way who became my mentors, but watch those individuals. And back in the 80s, you know, we put a lot of emphasis on social class and where people were social with the social status. So I observed that and watched how people were talking with each other and how they behaved with each other in order to overcome my intimidation, because I went through that for a long time and finally worked through that and became better and more confident. And so once I determined that I can fit in by just observing how they behave, helped me overcome that. But I'm going to tell you, one person that helped me really was my grandmother, still today at 97. My grandmother actually operated my grandfather's and father's sawmill, a timber company. Again, male-dominated industry, right? But if she wasn't in place, nothing would have happened. So I watched her at the age of 11. That's where this whole presence thing became more familiar to me, but I put it more into my daily work at 16. But watching her, no matter if it was males around, she still was very confident. There were boundaries that she knew she had to stay in place of, but she was very confident, didn't give up on her ideas, of sharing her ideas, stayed very steadfast in that. And I watched that along all of these years in order to be better at my presence. So I saw the power of presence in work, and I adopted what I observed. And that's what I'm going to share with you, along with some research through these 30 years that I found to be very effective to be more impactful in the workplace. So today, and even her little words of saying, walk tall. And ladies, walk tall. If you imagine holding your head down and looking at the horizon is straight, right? So when you walk down, you're not balanced. When you walk with your head up, it shows confidence, and that is part of presence. So I always remember those words that my grandmother tells me, and I still use the power of presence today when I am encountering situations such as today. I only have 10 minutes, so I'm hoping that my presence comes across and be accepted, but I lean on my presence, even if it's a little bit of confidence or a little bit of charisma, to bring me through, and it has helped me through my career. So again, that's what I'm here to share with you. Just wanted to let you all know a little bit of my background, because I'm coming from experience along with research information. So as we see, presence is really the equalizer. It's good to be knowledgeable in your skill set. All of that is very important. So become an expert in that area, but understand that presence is the equalizer, because it opens doors and also makes connections for you. Rada is going to actually talk with you all about how you can bring out some of those uncertainties in your personalities, things that you are not even aware that who you are and the capabilities that you have. And so this workshop is going to reset. Say reset. This is going to reset your mindset on how, on the capability, seeing your capabilities and other abilities that you don't know about, okay? And so the three I's, I call them the 3I presence model. It's not my model. It's a model by Christy Hedges. Christy Hedges, I don't want to take full credit for that, but this is the model that I do use. But the first I is intention. Intention. This is strengthening your presence. So you all say as professionals, yeah, you're a professional, you're very intentional at work. That's how you keep your job and got your job. But this is a little bit more detailed. This is where you go deeper into understanding yourself and realizing how you want to demonstrate yourself in the workplace to receive those desirable reactions, okay? And this is where you put together your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You're being very deep in determining who you are. And so great intentions creates great reactions. Your presence, you want it to propel you through your work life so you can receive desired, say desired, desired reactions as we go through our day and encounter maybe some opportunities of motivation, inspiration, and connections. That's how strong you want your presence to be. But one thing that we have to remember, we have to master and understand, is that humans are emotional beings. That's how we make our decision of who we're going to be friends with, who we're going to connect with, is through emotions. Just think about it. When you take in the presence of your coworker or of your boss, what is your definition of their presence? That's how people, your coworkers and friends, are looking at you. So we need to understand that humans are of emotional behavior. So the three intentions that I want to bring out today is, one is your personal brand intention. Your personal brand intention. This is really reflects your personality. This is forward thinking about you. It has to start with you. Forward thinking of the intentions, the intent of your personality, the intent of you that you want to demonstrate in the workplace. Again, we're talking about workplace. So this is something ongoing. This is something that you build upon. So you see small changes as you work upon that. For example, I want to be a team leader. That's something that you work upon. So that is your personal brand intention. The second intention is situational intention. That's in the now, being in the moment. You're preparing for a meeting. For example, in this meeting, I want to I want to bring out my new idea. So this is something that you have to I call it the pre-game ritual. You have to plan out in order to get the desired reaction. Remember, that's what intention is about. In order to get that desired reaction, we have to plan out how we want people to feel in order to get our end result. Okay? Are we following? No, I'm going pretty fast. Okay? And then the third intention that I want to bring upon your attention is body language, and we call those your micro actions. In the neuroscience world, we call those micro actions, your facial expressions, your gestures. Okay? I want to share with you Paul Ekman, who's actually a psychologist, and I read a lot of his work. He says that the face is not a secondary billboard for intentional feelings, but an equal partner in the emotional process. So that means it's more than just your words, it's your facial expressions, it's your body language. Now, when I talk about body language with my clients, I get a lot of cringing up and stress kind of comes into the process. What I want you to understand, there is no powerful voice, there is no powerful handshake, there is no powerful posture. So we're not perfect at this, okay? It's not written in a book that this is the only way that you need to stand in order to get this reaction. The point is around body language is that we have to be aware that it must align, your body language must align with your language of conversation. So I want you to understand that there's no perfect way, so don't let that stress you out, but you must put full attention to that. The second I is individual. Finding the humanity in others are connecting points to building relationships. And this is what it's all about. 2 minutes, wow. Okay, the main thing in this is trust. And I heard this talk on the panel. We get all cringed about the trust. We have to find ways to build trust in the workplace, okay? And one main way, and we've got to work on this as women, we have to become more vulnerable, okay? That's the state of exposing. And how you do that, really think deep on this, is find things. We all have a story in here, every one of us. No one in this room is perfect. We need to find within our story something that we want to reveal that can help someone else, okay? And that's how you build trust. Also on your worksheet, I have the equation of building trust, and I want to just make sure that you pay attention to that. The common denominator is self-orientation. So building trust is credibility, reliability, intimacy. Intimacy is meaning being open. When you're open and someone sees that, then you allow them to be open to share their story. That's building trust. But the common denominator to this equation is self-orientation. That means motive, your self-motive. If people see that this is all about you and you're not really in to really build that true trust, you've broken the whole equation. The equation doesn't mean anything. So I wanted to bring out that point. Also, trust on top of being empathetic, having empathy, okay? A lot of leaders have problems with this because they feel like that they'll be sucked in if they show that they are being empathetic. But the equation is understanding, listening, acknowledge, and relate. And I want to put emphasis on that is the order that needs to go in. Okay, the trust equation is no matter what order it goes in, but the empathy equation does. All right, then the last I is inspiration. This is about getting people to follow you, okay, increasing that fellowship in the workplace. And especially if you're creating change, if you're a leader or a manager or anything like that and you want to create change, one thing that you need to remember is that we as human beings, we like to hang on to what we're familiar with using less energy, right? So versus when new ideas are brought about, we have to use more energy, the willing to change from mindset, right? So when you're changing, and this is the point I want to bring out, when you're trying to change someone to think on a new level or a new idea, always remember we're fighting against familiarity, okay? We always want to stay in that comfort zone versus understanding that we've got to use more energy to accept new ideas. Okay, let's go to the worksheet right quick. Fill in the blanks. I have 60 seconds. First, in order to change, in order to inspire, we need to make room for reflection. We have to change ourselves first before we can change others. So make room for reflection time. This is planning time. Focus on solutions and not problems. In our society today, we want to go into meetings and talk about what the problem is. In order to create change, you need to have more time into the solution part of it. So focus on solutions, not problems. Strike for aha moments. Watch where, write down your behavioral thoughts, happy thoughts of your behavior to keep you going and to keep you in that process of change. And just do the daggone thing. That's what the last one, do it. Just do it like Nike. I put the daggone thing, okay? Small steps helps you with mental shifts. And the last one is find your flow, okay? You have to understand when you are ready for that change. The last one, real quick, the process of influencing others. So first you have to find how you change yourself, then influences others. And this process is called SCARF. And it's the process of rewards versus threats, okay? So the first word is status. When you're trying to create change, is showing people publicly that they are appreciated, okay? The C in SCARF is certainty. People feel more comfortable when they know what's coming next instead of a whole lot of last minute. You can help create change when people know ahead. And sometimes we can control that, sometimes we can't. But just know, once you know information, then get that information out to the person that you're trying to change. Autonomy. You all know, every one of you in this room, we don't like to be told what to do. Okay? And that's just how the majority of us human beings are. We want to be in control of ourselves. So none of that micromanaging and all of that, okay? And I'm especially speaking to the leaders when you're managing a group. The R is relatedness, being related to the situation. Show your team that, or find commonalities within your team. People that have commonalities, find those and connect those people because they can relate to each other. So that helps each other be accountable to create the change. And the last is fairness. And that's just fairness. I have that country accent. Being fair, communicating and being very fair. And especially in today's world with all the havoc in the workplace, as long as you communicate fairness and make sure that it's very clear, we eliminate a lot of issues. So as you all see, the 3 I's again, intentional, individual, and inspiration, those are areas that can help strengthen your presence. Now I'm going to turn this over to Rada, and I don't know if